Hey everyone, back doing another review again. This time it's a new hilt that just came out. This is the Anakin Starkiller Luke V2. This is the third run done by Anakin Starkiller, who also goes by Dan, from the RPF, the Rebel prop form. The first two runs that he did were both static, and this is FX, ready for electronics. I believe Dan did some collaboration with Roy from Wanawanga, who helps with the specs. And they took that from the interview with Mark Hamill, where he was handed back the V2 from the movie using the actual prop. A lot of great stills from that and some high-resolution shots. They were able to take some of the specs, get a 3D rendering of what they wanted. Went through with a fine-tooth comb and gave us probably one of the most, if not the most accurate FX version of this hilt that we have to date. Dan tried to keep as much of the accuracies from his previous runs as he could. He did not want to sacrifice any type of accuracy just to make it an FX hilt, and I don't think that he has. I think once this thing is all weathered up, it's going to look like the actual prop from the film. He did a wonderful job with this. This feels great right now, and I'm going to kind of just go top to bottom like I've done in my previous runs, my previous videos that I've done, as well as a little comparison at the very end. So, starting off at the top here, we have the emitter. Now inside the flange here is a little bit of a darkened nipple that's in there. That also comes with it. When this thing comes, when I got this today, I just got this, just came in recently. I opened up all the pieces. This all comes separate. Everything's taken apart, wrapped very nicely. A lot of wrapping to protect it. So once you take all that stuff off, you could start putting all the pieces together. Now the emitter is not screwed in to the neck. The emitter actually moves. As you can see, it spins and it's not going to unthread. There are two threaded heat sinks in here. There's an aluminum threaded heat sink for an LED, and then that sits inside of a steel heat sink that screws through the neck into, through the emitter into the neck. Very similar to if anyone has a Roman's V4 balance or his MK1, probably knows exactly what I mean. The threaded piece goes through the emitter to hold this down. But the one nice thing is that this actually spins like the movie prop. The movie prop, it had a motor inside, so this actually did move. I think the rotoscoping that they were doing to get the effect with the lightsaber. So that Dan was able to keep that, which I think is fantastic. I don't think anyone has done that in any of their replications for this hilt that are currently out right now. There are set screws all over this thing that are, again, accurate to the film. So as you can see, a couple up by one that's right on the flange, one that's on the nipple here, and then when you rotate, same thing on the other side. Okay. Dan also supplied all the set screws for this. I'll take some of this apart in a little bit so you can see. And again, going down through the neck, the uneven rings in the rib section, which is beautiful. This is a Roman's clamp. I know it's not the accurate lever. I just wanted to do the video. I did not put Roy's on there. I do have that. I also have a vintage clamp that I'm going to be using for this, as well as a vintage D-ring. Now, the other accessories that do come with this, there is obviously the blade flange. Okay, and again, as you can see, this is not screwed on. This is all held on there by set screws. Again, this is accurate to the movie prop itself. And there is a D-ring that comes along with, which is nice, great D-ring. I might use it with a different build, but I have a couple of vintage D-rings from an old Graflex bag that I'm going to be putting on here. Okay, so now you'll see in a little bit that from the rib section to the section right underneath the clamp, it's a twist and comes off, which is actually a great feature. Instead of actually threaded, you'll get to see that. Again, accurate to the prop. Here you have the cone knob, and then the mystery chunk. Now the mystery chunk this time around, again, a little more accurate thanks to the high-res pics and videos that we have from that interview. You can see it's a little bit knurled on top, okay? Now that's different compared to what we've seen with some of the other hilts that are out there right now. I don't think anyone really has done that just yet. But that to me looks fantastic. And then the booster, I'm sorry, not the booster section, the pommel is held in by this set screw, okay? And again, the D-ring is in the proper place, which is up higher. On the first Solo's hold run, it's actually in the middle, which was incorrect, although that saber is fantastic. That was one of the inconsistencies with that one. The cone knob and the mystery trunk are both threaded. They're not pressure fit, so what I probably will end up doing once I'm all said and done with this is I probably will use some E6000 to kind of make sure that it stays in and won't move around. Alright, so with that, let me take apart some of these pieces here. Okay, again, this is also accurate to the film. Okay, the mystery trunk is put in there. Again, I think there was a wire that would go through. That's why it's a mystery trunk. No one really knew what it was. In the earlier versions, when, again, this was an Obi-Wan stunt saber from A New Hope. So when and it was used as stunts throughout the other films, and when it came up for Return of the Jedi, and they needed this, and they grabbed it and they dressed it up for Mark Hamill, for Luke, they just put this little chunk in there to cover up the hole that was there for, I think, the running of the wires to have the whole motor inside spin in A New Hope. So that's there. All right, I'm going to take the clamp off here. Now the one nice thing I'm going to show you guys in a sec, see how that just pops right off? You'll see here, there's a nice threaded set screw that's going to go into, let me take this off. Okay. So there's that little twist and lock. Alright, and that's not going to go anywhere. When the clamp's on, this thing will not move. As you can see right now, it does have a little bit of play. Again, I think I put this in the right way. I think this is the correct set screw for this. You just want to make sure, obviously, that this is going to be flush. Obviously, if it's sticking out too much, it's going to push against the clamp. It's not going to work. But I think this is in pretty much the right way. And then the clamp, once that's tight and squeezed on there, this thing will not twist. It won't move. Okay, and I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath the cap here. Okay, now as you can see, you've got the aluminum heat sink that sits inside the steel one, and again, that is what's holding the emitter down into the neck. Okay, so again, I can move this all day long. That's not going anywhere. You'd have to unscrew this to get everything back off. And right now there's two set screws that are holding the nipple in. And again, I'm thinking that that's all correct where I put all the set screws. Everything fits in nice and flush. Let me put the clamp back on. Okay. And after this is done, I'm going to take out the Solo's Hold V2 that I have, and we can see a little comparison. Okay, now once that's in, just want to tighten up the clamp a little bit. I had to loosen it to get this off. Okay, now I'm trying to twist it. It's not moving. Okay, so as you can see, that's going to be just fine. All right, so now here's my Solo's Hold V2. These guys are pretty close in height. Looking at it, the Solo's Hold is just slightly higher. Looking at the flange up top. Okay. You can even see here, again, this is slightly higher. My guess is that this is all coming because of the even rings. Solo's Hold had even rings. They didn't have the uneven rings here. So that's where most of that height difference probably is coming in. As you can see, the neck is slightly larger on the Anakin Starkiller than the Solo's Hold. All right. And then as we get down here, I'm going to show both knobs. Knobs look very similar. I will say that. I don't think there's a big difference with that. The mystery chunks, however, are definitely different. You could see the mystery chunk is bigger on the Anakin Starkiller, as well as it has that textured knurled surface, where the Soul's Hold is just a little bit smoother. And the Soul's Hold was just a pressure fit. That was not threaded. But for the longest time, the Soul's Hold was the most accurate and best V2 that was out there. I know since we have RPK Customs that has done theirs, and his most recent, his third version of that has corrected some of the inaccuracies that were on the previous runs. That's definitely up there right now, and a great hilt to get if you can't get your hands on one of these. But as far as I know, that this run is done. I don't think Dan is doing another FX run at the current time. Who knows what will happen. He said the only way he's going to do another run is if he actually gets his hands on the prop itself. So maybe we can all hope and pray that he does in order to get something else out of it. But I think this is the best that any of us could probably hope for in a V2 hilt, as close to what the movie prop itself is. Like I said, I don't think anyone else is going to do a spinning emitter like that. That really is just fantastic. When you talk about accuracy to a prop. Again, nothing else is really threaded in. These are all held in by set screws. This is going to be a shelf queen. This is not something you're going to be dueling with. Once you dress this up, whether you keep it static or you put electronics in this, to me this is going to sit up on a shelf. It's not something you should be really playing around with. Goth is going to be doing a chassis for this, I've heard. So my guess is that crystal reveal is going to be really nice, and I'm sure he's going to utilize that twist and lock feature in here pretty well to give us a nice reveal once it's all said and done. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. The stencils are going to be done again by Trooper Trent, just like he did the previous run for the previous Anakin Starkillers and the Soul's Hold that he did. And I'm looking forward to again what he's going to be coming up with. He even said that he's updated his stencils since that video with Mark Hamill came out, so we should all see something even a little more accurate than what we've had last time, which I think everybody can agree we all thought was the best stencil job you could possibly do. So the fact that he's going to make that even better it's mind-blowing, but can't wait to see how that comes out. I'm sure his hilt will be getting to him any day, and once he does, he just makes some final adjustments to whatever he's got going on, and I'm sure his run is going to be up and going, and soon enough, just follow that. I believe that's also on the RPF. If you head there to that forum, you'll be able to find that thread and get your name on his list. But if you did miss out on this run, guys, just keep your eyes out either on the RPF forums or on the Facebook pages. I'm sure some people might have to sell them for whatever reason, but this was a great run. I'm glad I got in on it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just finishing this up. All right, that's it, guys. Any questions or anything like that, just leave it down at the bottom. Thanks, guys, so much. Take care. Enjoy the day.